Hello, it's Andy from Email Love. Today I'm going to walk you through how to recreate one of my favorite emails from Apple using the Email Love Figma plugin. So here is the email we will recreate in Figma. As you can see, it's a beautiful email design. It uses HTML text. We have a bulletproof button, some beautiful photography, single column layout into a double column, and then the footer. So we'll look at how to recreate this. We can get it looking pretty much exactly the same as Apple intended. So let's switch over to Figma and we'll look at how that is going to work. Okay. There we go. So here is the email design. So this is just an image, just so we can compare how it looks to our design that we will recreate with the plugin. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go into the Actions tab. I'm going to search Email Love, and then I'm going to load the plugin. The first thing we need to do is we need to create a new frame for our email. So a frame is basically the container. So this is where we're going to put all of the components, like the header, the footer, the text, the images. Okay, so here is the frame, and then within the plugin, what I like to do is really add the components that, or build out, I'd like to build out a similar structure to what we have here. So we need a logo, we need some text, and we need a button, and then an image. And so I'm going to go into the header section of the plugin first. I'm going to add a center aligned logo. I'm then going to find a component with a title, some text, like a paragraph, and then a button. So this component fits that criteria. And then I need a full width image. So let's start here. So firstly, we want to select the top component here. We want to change the background color of that component. So I'm going to change it from gray to black. I'm going to do the same thing for this text component. And then I'm going to go through and just update the contents. I'm going to add Apple's logo to the header. That looks a little bit too big, so I can resize that. Let's just compare how it looks to the original. That looks about right, although the padding isn't quite right. You can see there's more padding above the original email. And the way to add padding would be to select MJ column in that wrapper section. And then using auto layout, I can very easily say I want to add 35 pixels of padding above the logo. That looks good. I also want to update the font and the text. So obviously we had a text block here. It's now black, but we can change that to white. And we can just copy and paste in the content, center align that. Same thing with this text here. And then I'm going to change that color to white and center align it. Let's have a look here. Okay, it looks pretty good. And then for the button, I'm simply going to select the button frame. I am going to use the color picker to make it blue. And then I'm going to update the text. I think this font is a little smaller, so I'm going to change the font from 20 to 17. And I am also going to select the frame for the button. And I'm going to use auto layout again to change the alignment from left to center. And then if I want to change the size of the button, I can easily do that just by kind of adjusting it there. You can do the same with the height of the button. I think that looks pretty similar to what Apple has in the original. There we go. That looks good. And then I'm going to upload a new image. So to do that, I will select the image on the left-hand side. So it's called MJ image. You do not want to change that, by the way. So you don't want to change MJ image or any of the, basically don't change the naming convention on the left-hand side, because this is how we convert these layers and frames into email-friendly HTML. And so I'm simply going to select the image on the right-hand side and find the new image on my desktop. I'm also going to, you can see there's a bit of padding here. The original image was a higher, had a larger height than the new one, so I can very easily adjust that. I'll probably change the background color to be black as well. There we go. And then let's just preview that just to see how it's looking. Okay, that looks pretty similar to the original. So we can look at it on desktop. We can also look at it on a mobile. Looking good. One thing I don't like is it has a white background. You can see here. So what we can do is we can select the frame. And then once you've selected the frame, you can click on Appearance and you can control the background color in light mode and dark mode. And so I'm going to change the light mode background color to be black. So that looks a little bit more on brand. Okay. So now moving down the email, we have a heading right here. If I want, I could either copy this and just use this heading that we already have here, or I could add a component that was just a heading. In this case, I think this heading looks pretty similar. So what I can do is I can select this wrapper component. So on the left-hand side, you want to make sure MJ wrapper is selected. That's selecting the entire thing. And then I can do Command-C, Command-V on a Mac, or Control-C, Control-V on a PC to copy that. And then I can just select the text frames and the button frames in there to delete them. So there we go. And then what I'm going to do is copy in my new text. Now, the other thing that we might want to change here is the amount of padding. I might want more padding in this section. You can see I have 60 pixels of padding. I might want to increase that to, I think that's fine actually, but we won't want to decrease the size of the font to make it look exactly like the Apple email that you see here. So I'm going to make that 31. And then I think this font should probably be a little bit larger. So this can be 40. Might even be bigger than that. Let's make it 45. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we have another section here with it has an image, which is this number is an image, and then this is text and has a title and then a paragraph underneath it. And so we want to find a component that is similar to that structure. So let's have a look. Do we have any components that look just like that? Okay, so I think the closest, and if there's something that you want that isn't in the plugin, you can often adapt an existing component. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this component. So obviously this is not the same. It has 3 columns, but what I can do is I can select 2 of the columns, I can delete them, and then I can basically adapt this to look just like the section on the left-hand side. So I'm going to upload the number. and the text. Okay, so this section definitely needs more padding. So it has 60 it has 36 at the moment. I think it needs to be more like 120. Okay, so you can see here the padding brings the text more into the middle, and then I can change the color, update the font color to be white. And there is a URL in here. So if you want to add a URL to some text, you simply select that text, and then you come into Figma Actions and you say create link, and then you add your URL. And you can color, I can add a color. So I'm going to make it blue, just like in the actual email. I think this text looks a little bit bigger, so let's make it like 19. It's probably a little bit too big actually. Let's do 17. And I think the line height is bigger, so let's do 25 the line height. And I think this is also a larger font. Let's try 25. Now I think there's a bit more space. So again, if you want to add padding, it's best to select the component, then use the auto layout feature on the right hand side. Okay, there we go. So now we've built this section, we can very easily copy and paste it to duplicate the next sections. So it's going to make it super easy. Update the image, update the text. Okay, there we go. Just do that a couple more times. Okay, one more. And then we'll get down to the 2-column section at the bottom. See here, there's a gray piece of text in a smaller font. So what I can do is I can select this frame here, I can copy and paste it, I can update the text and just change the styling. Okay, so let's make this a gray color, and we will make it probably 15, or reduce the line height, and I might add a little bit more padding above that. Okay, there we go. Looking pretty good. Now we need to replicate this section here. So I'm going to select the frame, and then I'm going to find a 2-column section to add, and I think this one is probably the closest. Okay, so we can simply select our images and upload the new images of the phone. Okay, so the actual phones are a little bit bigger. So what I can do is I can select the image frame, and I'm just going to make that bigger. And then I'm going to select the image inside of the frame to make that bigger as well. I have made it 336 pixels in height. So do the same thing on the right hand side. 336. And I'm going to increase the size of the image to 336 as well. Beautiful. Okay, the iPhone 16 is actually text, which is nice. So we're going to center that, and we're going to select the frame for that text, and we're going to actually remove all this padding and we make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Five. Okay, and then obviously this component is the wrong color. Change that to black. Use the padding. Again, all the padding is really controlled in the auto layout, so you don't want to be really messing with anything outside of auto layout because that can break it. Okay, and then we're almost done here. It's pretty fast. And then again, I'm going to select the button frame and just delete that because we don't need it. And then we just need this piece of text and a button. So I'm just going to copy this one because this is just a heading section. And we'll move it down here. So you can see how the blue highlights, that's where I want to put it. And then I'm going to copy this text. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm simply going to, we're just going to copy this section just to get the button. And just delete the other text. And then I'll just reduce the padding. There we go. Let's give that a preview and see how it looks. Okay, so here it is on desktop. And on a mobile device. There we go. We've replicated this beautiful Apple email in around 15 minutes. So very quick and easy. Again, you can optimize it for light and dark mode and for mobile devices. And now that we're finished, we can easily click on the export button. We can host the images with the email of Figma plugin, and we can export to as either HTML or to our email platform of choice. So super simple, and this really streamlines your email production process because you now no longer need to replicate your Figma design inside of your email platform. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.